everybody for being here. I've been thinking a lot about this and what wins in our league and how important team is. I mean, it is. It's the greatest thing about our sport. The game of football is team. And there's nothing greater than the team, and none of us will ever be better than the team. There's not one person in this room that does something that's not significant towards winning. Team before self through everything we do, okay? Others before ourselves. We have to fight to secure that we never lose the essence of team. Never, all right? I think you all know it's the start of our off season. In terms of player acquisition, it's important we get our eyes on them. We got a lot of things going on, but excited about where we're going, excited about all the people we have in this room, and excited about what we're going to do this season. To team and a great season this year.
You want to make sure you're not missing anything.
Yeah, like catch. You're just covering yourself and making sure you're thorough. This is another chance to be even more thorough.
The film's very important to go back, detail, take your time, look at each guy individually. The fall is definitely where the heavy lifting is done. This time of year is probably equally as important.
And we go into April, look, we're answering every question possible.
As many questions answered as we can before we get into our final round of draft meetings in April.
Every question they might have, you have to have the answer to.
I'm serious, I'm asking this question.
He's got a unique talent with his size. This is a unique talent.
Hold on, his unique talent. Let me tell you, I said it, we gotta be right. You don't go scout and you say, I like him and I'm gonna be right. You gotta be right. That's our job.
You can't just say stuff to Chris, because he's listening to everything you say, even when you think he's not. Minor detail, I'm telling you, he'll remember everything. You gotta be ready, calculated, and have your argument ready and why.
You're rounding out the rest of the picture. You have the background, you have your report pretty much written. That's kind of what this time of year also entails.
Do you want him on our team? Do you want to draft him? Do you want him to be a Colt? That's what the April process is all about.
I think that's where I watched it yesterday.
How long have you guys lived together?
We've lived together, we're coming up on 2 years now. Yep.
How beneficial is it to have somebody who understands that? When you come home at night, you might be able to decompress or debrief, or you can bounce things off of one another, maybe when you're watching film or something like that.
Sounds like I'm glad I'm coming home with my wife. Is that in the Houston folder?
Huh?
Is it in the Houston folder?
Yeah.
I was moving from Minnesota. I'd gotten an apartment. The night I'm moving in, Mike Lacy calls me. I got some space in my house. I know you're moving. Do you want to move in? And I'm like, look, let me sleep on it. I just signed this lease like 2 hours ago. And I'm like, you know, it just makes the most sense. Work-wise and lifestyle-wise.
I don't think there's a better roommate that somebody could have. There's no drama, low maintenance. We're both organized, we're both clean, both respect each other's space and time, and there's been no issues.
I think if it was one guy's married, one's not, you know, that'd be a little weird.
Our schedules are way different. We could go a month without seeing each other, a month and a half.
There are some times where we overlap here, and you're always talking about ball.
I would say 95% of our conversations are about the Colts and football.
The conversation of our philosophy,
You know, our own philosophies.
the direction of the team, how to do the job, how to do it well, how to do it at a high level, different ideas, different perspectives.
And how can we win, and players, and scouting, and what our team needs, and going through our own scenarios.
You're trying to accomplish the same goal at similar stages of your career. And I like to think both driven, both wanting to be productive and high achievers and just help us win games.
It's nice to have somebody to bounce ideas off of every day.
His work ethic is second to none league-wide. That pushes me. The days where you have off, or the weeks where you have flexibility, he still knows to the grindstone attacking it. And I'm like, well, I got nothing better to do. I'm going to do the same thing. It's a passion, it's a lifestyle. We take it very seriously, and I think we both push each other to higher levels.
It's just nice to have somebody that like has as much love for the game as you do, and has as much passion for scouting. It's been awesome.
What do y'all think?
I think the lack of talent's going to show up, but he's tough. He'll hit.
I don't think he's 100% confident.
confidence, just a lot of smoke.
Kevin is right. There's a lot of smoke. Fortunate that we've been able to keep everybody together, knowing how each one of us work, what we like, what we don't like. We all have our own biases, and that's natural.
You get used to the guys, and it just makes it a much more efficient process, and I think a more accurate one.
We're gonna watch them. They better be real deal too, Lacy.
I think the trust factor just grows every year. Everybody's together.
We know the standard that is expected. So it's like no excuses now.
More time we have together, communication is a little more seamless. We're more familiar with our process.
You're no more efficient and you know how to attack it.
It's just at the end of the day, are we gonna ever really, does he fit us and do we trust him?
Not off this interview, no.
As long as we're having those discussions and the banter back and forth, I think the chances of hit become higher when you have those honest, hard discussions.
This was not good.
Just not a lot of juice, what it sounds like.
Biscuit, right?
Yeah, no energy and juice. The discussions get animated as you would expect, especially when you've been around each other and you know each other so well. So much you can do, Jamie.
I mean, it's not perfect.
No, I'm just saying from a streak standpoint, I mean, like, you can't just make that blanket comment.
Well, we have more resources.
But understanding each other's biases, be able to call it when say, hey, you're off here.
It gets more passionate.
It's now all of our guys, and it's for our team. Not our job to love them or hate them, it's evaluate them.
The problem is well, you just said our strict, now hold on. Let's analyze that statement you just made. That's why we had a strict staff.
And some aspects we're like brothers in there. Guys are going to have differing opinions. Nothing is ever personal.
You're pretty much saying the street staff's gonna put 10 to 12 pounds of muscle on this.
I didn't say 10 to 12 months. I say
No, but that's what you're alluding to. We have a street, when you made the statement, street staff and resources.
These guys have to go to class.
He's not gonna be much bigger. He is about what he is. You're even a little more free to voice what you want, so I think it's a good thing.
Compare it to like court.
I thought he was a good defender on tape. I thought he lacked strength.
You're the lawyer and that's your defendant and you're defending him. So when we're attacking him, we're attacking the defendant. We're not attacking you, not attacking the lawyer. We're trying to punch holes into your player to make sure you're sound on him, you're strong on your opinion on him. What you believe is true. You're confident the guy can play.
And knowing exactly what you're trying to accomplish, what you're looking for in terms of character and talent, the longer you have a group together, the better it gets over time.
The key to any great relationship is mutual respect.
The lair.
Todd's office has been nicknamed the Lair.
That's a nickname that the guys gave it.
It's an interesting place.
I don't know how the lair, where that originated from. I guess it's just the ambiance.
It's always dark.
It can be tough to see sometimes because it's dimly lit.
It's always like steamy from his diffuser.
Feels damp.
There's always some kind of cool, unique little nightlight in there. That and the reflection off of his glasses is usually all I can see when I walk by or look in there.
It's a unique space in our building.
He's accumulated a lot of different items, so we'll leave it at that.
You want to be comfortable, you know, and this is the element that I like working out of. I do think a good work environment is important. It's just always the way I've done it.
I don't doubt how hard Todd's working in the Lair.
He's been doing this such a long time.
This will be my 30th. Started in 1995, was my first draft with the Carolina Panthers. I think the one thing about scouting this time of year, it's a constant comparison business. So you're comparing to players that you've done in the past. You're comparing to players that play in the league now. You're comparing to players that are on your own team, and you're comparing to players that are in their own draft class. Who's he like?
So we need to think of him over the years, just seeing players like, oh yeah, he reminds me of so-and-so.
Well, that's the comparison to players in the league. Who's he better than? Well, that comparison is who's on our team.
A 5 athlete, where this guy's probably a 3 athlete.
Compared to the players in their own draft class, would I take player A over player B? That's where you're going to use that comparison. And how does he fit into what we're looking for?
You're trying to find a similar case and looking by studying history. I mean, that's the only way you can possibly do it. This guy went really high. he had these issues, this player has the same issue, so maybe we're glossing over that and we need to be more careful.
Super solid, smart, leader, vocal. I think the guy makes us better at the position.
It's not a science. This is human beings evaluating human beings. Chris compares it to like when you go to the movies and you see a great movie, the second time you see the movie, you're gonna see some things that you didn't see the first time you watched the movie. Watching film's the same way. You can watch the same game and see different things every time you watch it.
Are you fighting for him?
Everybody's not gonna see players the same way. Some people like vanilla ice cream, some like chocolate, some like Rocky Road. It's just a matter of opinion. I think scouting players to a degree is the same way.
I think the guy just plays on balance. He's a good athlete, plays with patience.
Yeah, I just don't think he's sudden. I don't disagree. No, he's fast. He's not sudden. I never questioned his speed. It's stop, start, change direction, suddenness.
The upper level talent players, everybody's going to like those guys, but what degree? Like, why do you like player X better than player Y? Well, that's because of this. Someone like, well, I like this better. And certain guys are going to like certain players for certain reasons. And listen, that's scouting. Scouting is about having a gut on a player. There's something about the player you like. It's an instinct. And the best evaluators have that instinct.
Anybody else got thoughts on him? He is really talented.
You don't know on draft day. I mean, you don't. You have no idea. We do all this work up to that moment. We line the board up, and then as they strip off, we take one. I mean, it's pretty simple in my mind. People, I think, overcomplicate it, where we do all this work, and then on draft day, we let it fall the way it may.
I mean, he is look at him. I mean, he just seeks contact.
At the end of the day, information is the key. Whoever has the best and the most accurate information usually makes pretty good selections. And our scouts do a tremendous job studying these players and knowing what fits schematically of what we want. The one thing I know, you don't ever want to pass up a great player. Even if it's not a position in need, just don't pass up a great player. Take the best guy on the board for your team.
Give me something else. We got time for one more. I need to feel it.
It's exciting. You start to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
The dust has settled.
We always use the phrase, the hay is in the barn.
Kind of finishing up the board.
We've had all this time to talk about these players. If there's anxiety on draft day, you're screwed. You can't go into draft day with like some angst about, oh, why do we have this guy? You could have said something.
You know, we've done this process over and over and over again. We've seen them 5 times, 4 times, and we've cleared the board of the guys that we think are at risk for whatever reason.
Sitting right now at 15, what options does that give you?
I do think there's a shot he's there.